Welcome back, strange crew. You are tuned into another trip through life's deep cuts. We hope you enjoy the ride.
Keep it strange.
We're good and we're rolling, I think. Take 2.
Literally take 2. Welcome back, strange crew, for another episode of Strange Grooves.
We're ready to go, and we just thought we would retake this because the other one, it combusted. The file combusted because it was just such a hot file. It was too much for you all to be able to actually take in your screens and in your ears, so we had to bring it down a little bit, a better rating here, and we're going to reshoot it. That's really the truth of what really happened, isn't it, Hawk?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it totally combusted. He needs a new computer because of how great we all looked on that file, so we figured we'd tone it down a little bit, okay? So just we're bringing it back to reality, okay?
Yeah, tone it down, Corey. Jesus.
Tone it down, buddy. Jeez. Crazy studio, new haircut, calm it down.
Yeah,
Jeez.
too hot to handle over here. Well, strange crew, long-time listeners and watchers will recognize this guy, but for those who don't, we're thrilled to have Corey Bonnevie of Monopolized Records back on the show. Kind of full circle. You're one of our earliest guests and pals that supported the show like 8 years ago when we first launched, so it's so great to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back.
So, describe where we are right now. So, this is definitely a new pad, new-ish pad.
Yeah, we're under the boardwalk, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
I'm in Market Square, so it's a weird little basement studio now. Yeah.
If you went to school uptown back in the early 2000s, you likely hung out down in these parts under the boardwalk.
Yeah,
The boardwalk.
Right?
definitely. I think it used to be a bar at one point, back in my parents' era,
Good times.
called the Lighthouse. So older listeners may know that reference.
Older listeners, please tune in. Please send us photos of the Lighthouse Bar and establishment, please.
I would love to see photos because I don't know because the space is all broken up into storage units now, so to see it as a bar would be interesting.
Yeah. So, Corey, you, as Sharice kind of alluded, you've been a big supporter of our show. We're going on 8 years, and we've known you for way longer than that. If this makes you uncomfortable, suck it up. But I think it's really important that people also understand a lot of what you do. Like, being in business isn't always easy. And, building out a studio for other people to build out their musical endeavors and things like that, it does take time and trying to find the right things, the right soundproofing and all that. So I give you kudos to that. It seems like every interview that we're in with other people, they mention you because of your willingness to, one, co-create with them, to help them with things, whether it's finding the right amp or finding the right way to get something pressed or a show. And I just want to say that to anyone, if you don't know Corey, you should really get to know what he's doing and how he's helping the community. And I really, truly appreciate your support over the last 8 years, your willingness to be on the show. You've never said no. You always keep us in the know to how we can help other artists as well. I know the last time we were here, you talked to us a lot about like the records you're pressing, the stuff that you're doing. And like, I think there's a lot of like merit in that. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you do business today and what kind of keeps you going?
Stick-to-itiveness, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Stubbornness.
I can also resonate with that for sure. Yeah.
There's probably good attributes, but I don't know. I think most of it is that my end game is to be able to sustain. So business for me isn't like a lot of business folks will talk about growth and expanding. It's like for me, it's like sustainability. Community is mostly about sustainability. I don't want to be a blip. I mean, like you guys are celebrating 8 years last year, or this current year. I didn't really do anything for the event because it's not in my thought process to do celebrations. I don't even celebrate my birthday. So, but Monopolized is 10 years old.
Yeah, which is wild.
So it was like a cool like wow like thanks. But so like it's cool that like I've been able to keep it up. But yeah, just through I think sheer like I read it as stubbornness to like want to exist and do the thing and like keep doing the thing. And everyone that I talk to in the arts sector, it's like just keep doing it.
Yeah.
I like to call it surviving out of pure spite.
We also
could be a
call it
thing.
keeping afloat something fierce, right? Because you're trying to just like tread water, and you're trying to find the buoys and the things that really just keep you afloat in the, whether it's the community or grants and funding, or maybe it's someone else's like music that makes you want to go in and write. Like I think that stuff's really, really important, like to keep at the forefront. So like I definitely can resonate with that.
Yeah. Like 10 years. So that's insane. And I know like Kate and I over the last little bit, like getting ready, celebrating 8 years, we're going through all this stuff, like, and we were finding shit where it's like, oh my God, do you remember when we did that? Or like, that was super cool. I guess looking over the last 10 years, what would you say have been some of the highlights or one of the moments, like, or moments where you're just like, holy crap, this is really cool. I'm doing this.
I mean, like obvious highlights, like not exactly tied to just through my endeavors, but like Quality Block was pretty wild. Because yeah, putting on a festival was a lot of work, and we did it twice a year, which is stupid. Like even more work, and then just putting out, I guess like certain milestones would have been like first putting out the first vinyl record. That would have been a big thing for me as a musician, and then I don't know, putting out.
What was that record? Just for people listening.
The first LP would have been Little You,
Yeah.
Little Me. I'd watch the day till it died. That was the first time we did pressing. I dealt with a Canadian pressing plant that does not exist anymore. They went in a blaze of glory, I guess, like just ripped people off, and I got my stuff, so I got, I was unscathed from the terrible experience it was at some point. But I think the whoever set it up was kind of didn't know what they were getting into, like found old machines and was like, we can do it. So, I got lucky, but I think other than that, it's like dealt with different companies, so like growing and learning how to do that a lot more efficiently has been good. I'm trying to think of other things. I mean, in 2019, I started an event, and it's an event that I'm still doing. What was it? Or it could have been the year before. I don't. The branding on it is kind of sloppy.
What is
but
time anymore?
yeah, like, well, because this was 2019, I did a thing called the Monopolized Year End, and it was the idea of like programming a show before New Year's and just after Christmas. So like that weird, there's usually a weekend where nothing's happening, and I hate New Year's. Because it's like everyone's in competition for one night, and it's just kind of, I don't know, I'd rather pick an arbitrary date and just make that feel like a special event instead of trying to do something on the night where everyone's doing something. So it started then, and it was a great show. It was with Little You, Little Me. I think we had Adam Kay, we had Adam Mowry, with two Adams playing, and we had Road. And then we brought up like special guests, so we had like, we were doing like local covers of like, well, we had local guests come up and we were playing their songs, which was super fun. Like we had David Eyre come up, I think Eric came up, we had guys from the Wooden Wives, like that was super fun. So then I was like, I'll make this annual, and then 2020, so I didn't, and then
But why? No.
yeah, so that really, like, I mean, even when shows were starting to happen again through surviving the pandemic, it was like I didn't know how to address it. So I just started kind of doing it again. It was a lot easier, especially like having Haven as a spot to put it on was a lot easier than when I'm dealing with like a third-party venue where there's more ins and outs, and I'm trying to negotiate how to get things done and have a bunch of shenanigans happen. So there it's a lot easier. So now I'm going to keep doing it as an annual thing.
I have another question.
Yes.
I have a few questions.
I have a question.
So I know that, you, like me, have a very high work ethic, and like you always are out there to help other people. But, you're a musician yourself, and you have your studio, and obviously it's a good thing to work in and work out of and to help other people with. But do you find that you end up managing a lot more than producing, both on your own side of things and to the people that you also work with? Because I know in our line of business, not just with the podcast, but with like marketing, we might be hired to come in and create something. But sometimes there's a lot of storyboarding and collaboration and showing different things. And a lot of times we end up very much co-collaborating on things that we might have just thought we were creating a deliverable for. Do you find that happens a lot? Or do you try to keep it out of you? Like, what's your philosophy on that?
I'm usually pretty upfront. A lot of the artists I work with don't have big budgets, so it's more of, I'm not managing them like an artist manager, but like in the sense of managing expectations and or the budget is like super integral, I think, because I don't want someone to like work with me and then kind of be like, oh, we'll figure it out later. It's like, no. Like, this is how it will cost, and like if you're on a budget, we'll do things this way so that you're not, over budget or getting screwed over in some ways. And I want them like at the end of the day, I want the artist to be happy with what's happening because it's their art, it's not my art. So there's I have a little bit of that going on because usually working with a lot of like emerging artists, new to recording, might not even know what I do. They just know they
Just
need
hit
someone
record.
to do the thing. Like they don't, some clients definitely don't know like the difference between like a tracking session, a mixing session, a mastering session. Like it's all kind of just like in the ether for them. They're just like.
Well, I just add, and I'll finish the question so Sharice can ask hers, but again, a lot of times when you're a facilitator and you connect a lot of things, a lot of it is being the person who facilitates things. So someone might come in and ask you to track something, but then you might know how they can get it pressed. You might know how to get them to have merchandise. So I find a lot of times it doesn't stop at our job. It stops depending on how much outwardly we want to give into that community, right? Or a scope of work. So I was just curious if you found that you maybe give a lot, or do you have like a really strict scope of work for yourself?
I mean, I give a lot in the sense of community, I guess. So, like, usually I'm giving, like, I get a lot of, like, younger folks, I'll give them more time than someone older.
Yep.
So if I have, like, a teenager or someone in high school that's, like, their, like, career path, like, they don't know what's going on, because a lot of people in their world will tell them, don't go into the arts, or like, they'll tell them to avoid all of those things. And I can validate some of the concerns their parents might have, but there is ways to sustain. I'm about sustainability. Like, I know lots of people that have full-time jobs, but also have an artist career too. Mm-hmm. So it's like when you meet like a lifer, I'm like, no, you can do it. Yeah. So like I've mentored and I've done things like that. But yeah, no, the boundaries, I have strict boundaries when it's someone like that is looking for a free consultation. So it's like, that's like, I'm giving them a link to my website, and it's like, if you want a consultation, like if they're talking about setting up it's like, I don't mind talking
coffee sometime.
I don't mind talking shop a little bit.
My hourly rate.
But usually that shoos them away, because then they'll go, oh, they're serious.
Deal.
Yeah, they're serious about it. So like, but that's kind of its own. That's not even, I don't even view that as like music community. That's like corporate dudes usually, actually. That's like strictly that.
So in the same vein, and I know we talked about this last time before the tape got too hot and imploded.
So hot. Please insert fire emojis
Here.
Hot.
So how do you, because again, you have the strict boundaries, you're a business. And whether it be like when you were in recording sessions with artists, or when you have people, like when you decide personally to talk shop with people on your own volition, how do you balance sort of the business aspect, the time, with the creativity? Because you are an artist yourself, but you're also working with artists. So how does that work? Because I know sometimes even in the marketing side, we deal with that as well. Because you sometimes could get carried away with the creative spark, and then you're like, oh my goodness, like we're investing way too much time, right? How do you, like in this space, deal with that?
Well, for recording, it's a lot easier there's not like a gray area of like, it's like time put in. So the artist is like hiring time. It's like, that's easy. That's like, you're here, we're working on it. I don't usually like go over budget on a project, because I've been doing it for more than a decade. Right. So it's like, I can deliver within my means. Like I haven't had such a difficult client. It's like, it's gotten to that case. So but the creative part of it, like for my own personal projects, my work environment is arguably a little bit easier, because like you're in it. It's like all my instruments are here. So when I'm like, watching paint dry, when I have to do a computer thing and just like let it do its thing, it's like I'm picking up instruments, and so like it's in my day-to-day pretty consistently. But then like recording my own projects, yes, I do, like they will get pushed. Like my own personal projects will kind of get pushed to make sure I have enough for, you know,
That's fair.
like for income, like to make money, to make a living. I have to. That's always the balance in the negotiation. So like, yeah. I mean, there's like, and also going for grants can kind of make that a little bit different. So if I go for like a recording grant for myself, which is also what I recommend to clients.
Yep.
Like, so it's like if I do practice what I preach in that
Yeah.
sense. It's like, well, get a creation grant so you can like take the time to actually like for subsistence, so
Right.
you can live and then not have to worry about rent for like a month or two while you're
Right.
writing. Or
We have like a rule both at Strange Grooves and at the marketing firm where we say like, we'll go and we'll chase ideas and we'll do things, especially if we really are passionate about it or if we want to think outside the box, as long as it doesn't impact the business fundamentals. So if it affects us paying rent that month, we probably shouldn't do over hours that month. We should maybe do it next month when we aren't being impacted from a cost perspective or a payroll perspective. But I also, you know, it also comes down to, too, like, you do have to be sustainable and, you know, it does make you want to do more. But I would be curious, and I'll be fully transparent. I know the bigger our business has gotten, and of course we've had moments of scarcity, and we still do, of course. It feels, even looking back on our 8 years, that sometimes we had more with when we started than we do when we have an office or our own studio. Do you ever feel that way as an artist or a business owner? Because I find now, why I ask that is because now we are so set out to ensure that the client work is done well, and that is when we'll have the ability to have time to create as well for our own companies. And I feel that that's why sometimes our own creative projects will get backburnered. And I feel like that's sometimes, it's just an inevitable variable. And I feel like sometimes, like, you can, now that we have this office and we have this studio for Strange Grooves, sometimes we'd almost knock it out of the park when it was just in our apartments, because I think that's all we had. So we had something to do you ever find that now as a business owner or as an artist?
Well, that's a little bit trickier because I haven't, like, I guess in the context of how my business is working, to compare it to to Strange Grooves, like, I haven't left like your early days apartment. Like, I've maintained that this is just a space I rent. Like, my business is just me. Like, wherever I end up is where it is. Like, I do mobile sessions. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, people are working with me and it's just gear in a space.
Yeah.
So like, I could move next month and it's like not much. The physical space would change, but the work wouldn't change.
Do you think, like, another way to phrase it is, like, do you think, like, in the early days things were perhaps easier or, like, maybe more smooth in certain ways before, you know, you got, like, you know, a rented, you know, rented space?
It's always
stuff
hard.
like that. Yeah.
It's like, it's
if
never
we're gonna
got,
ask questions,
it's
we
never-
should be real about it.
it's never been, there's not a single part that's gotten easier.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of a single thing that's easy in the artist, like in the music industry or like any creative endeavor. It's like, that's, yeah. Like, I don't have, like, I'm not a rich kid. Like, I don't have, like, you know, I'm not a trust fund kid where I can just, like, go do these, like, you know, crazy projects or, like, my space. I have to pay for it and figure it out. I was, like, lucky early days because I lived with a bandmate and we were doing everything out of a house that he owned. Like, it was his family home, so it was, like, that made things, like,
a lot easier.
A lot easier. But then even that, though, that comes with, like, that's, like, you're doing loud recording sessions and rehearsals in a house, like.
And I'm glad that we were able to talk about that, because for anyone who's, you know, band artist or business owner or someone looking to help in any of these industries, it's good to know what the real life of it can be. Because I know for us, like, starting out, we would have events all the time. We had different merch. We were really just going out there and, like, hitting it hard because we had to, we wanted to, we still do, but it's evolved. And now it's almost like it's the business comes first and then the creative has to come second. Otherwise, it will impact your business. And I know I would look at that as same as, that's why we're not seeing 2 quality blocks every year. It's like there has to be a time shift on cost. And if making sure that we're actually there for the people who are trying to have a space to come in and record and to have access to a quarry, that is, to me, the most and best part of being able to be a business owner is you can choose where you spend your time and how you use it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of how it's evolved to us. Now our studio is a little different. Our business model is a little different. How we go out and we talk to people is a little different. I still think we want to come back to where we were, like those olden days in some ways, right? And I think there is some nostalgia there, but I do think there's a reason why it has evolved too. So I like to ask those sometimes not difficult questions, but ones that aren't always like, maybe they're not optimal. Sometimes like they're not a positive thing to ask, right? Because like sometimes it's really hard to create when you're trying to run a business.
Yeah, and I think too, especially in the business realm, and I guess imagine too, if you're an artist too, strictly speaking, like you want to put on this facade or this front that like things are successful, things are great, but like we all know deep down, like it's never always peachy. There's always, even during the good times, there's usually something else going on. As Kate likes to say, there's like, success and tragedy in the same day, right? So I think it's really important to have those conversations. Like, just be honest. We're all human.
Yeah.
It's like we can have good days, but then we're all still going home to make like a stir fry at the end of the day and trying to figure out like what's next, right? And like just trying to get through it. So I think it's really good for people to know that like people can have evolved their businesses or their shows or their bands, but it's still making sure that you're accessible to help or pass those resources on to other people.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to know, like, has there been someone that you've been working with this year that's really inspired you or motivated you to, one, look after your business in a different way, or two, create as an artist with yourself or with the bands that you're working with?
I don't know. Like, I look at, like, usually for recording, every session's like it's a neat learning curve, not even a learning curve, but how certain artists might behave in a studio space, or like, so I'm always open to whatever workflow they want to do. Like some of it's like, textbook modern recording studio where everything's to a click track and you're trying to get perfect. And then I'll do sessions where it's like, a band is going to record an album in a single day. It's just like I set up everything and it's like, that's their, whatever they want to do. So it's neat to see. As far as like inspiration, I would say so. I don't know. I'm just in it, so I don't really know. Like, as far as like getting directly inspired, I guess they're peers, so it's like in the sense that I'm still in the room and I'm still doing the thing. Is the.
But is there like someone that you go like they make you pull your socks up like in the day, or is there someone that like their work ethic is like inspiring to you?
It's usually younger folks. Like
Yeah,
anytime I meet someone younger that's doing it, that's like, it's always. That's what's inspired, because that reminds me of when I was that age, or, as far as modern people, like, I can't think of like direct ones. I guess like each project might have their own little specific thing that was like, that would be interesting, aspect of it. Like a lot of people I work with, like some of the projects are like, they're older than me and it's like their first band, and like projects like that are cool because like, I kind of look forward to getting older and like be like, yeah, you can still do music projects and stuff like that, not to like get jaded as you age. Or
I think that's so interesting that it's younger people and also like the older people as well, because there is something so inspiring when you are working with people that are younger than you, and like even we get it sometimes even though we're like in our 30s, right? But it's like it's people that have that tenacity, that they know what's going on, they really have their finger on the pulse, they're really driven. The world they're not jaded yet. They haven't, and they still have hope. So, and then at the same time too, when you get people that are older and wiser, right, they've reached a point in their lives where they probably give less of a shit, or they're at a point where they're like, okay, like now I know it's, this is important to me and I have the time to, explore, and I can still try new things, right? So it's kind of like the same thing on opposite spectrums.
Yeah, like I met, like someone younger, it's like the nerves might be like, what do my peers think of what I do? And then when you're older, it's like, what do I think of what I do?
Yes.
Which is a better, like, like looking back, obviously I wish I could tell a younger self to be more focused on that than like being too conscious of like how it's being interpreted by others or something like that. But I mean, I'm also like, I've worked with kids. It's funny. Like one of the younger folks I mentor, say Paige, is like, young and we got a recording grant, like it was awesome. And then, I could see them having aspects of like being a perfectionist, and I was like, I identify with that, like I get it. And then there's moments where it's like, yeah, like, but like this is a time and place, like let's
Right.
get it down. And then you'll have so many more opportunities to like do this again, and like these aren't going to be the only songs you'll write, and like, that's how I feel about it. Not that I'm like, there's old stuff obviously as like an artist, everyone, classic artist, like hates everything they did before. It's like, what do you like? Well, the last thing I did is my favorite. Like you'll hear that as an answer, and that there's a reason for that because it's the thing they're currently excited about. So it's like, but doing enough to realize, oh, that is the reason to do the thing, is to keep doing it. Like there's not like a perfect or best version of whatever I'm doing. It's just continuing is the actual like reason or purpose.
What's the best sandwich in the city?
Love it.
I don't know.
We do hot takes here, so
So is yours a hot sandwich then?
maybe. Hot turkey at Deluxe with peas. It's pretty damn good.
I mean, I'm always down for a club. I mean, Tops is like kind of my like dinery spot
Yeah.
if I'm doing a diner. But the place I frequent the most is probably Jeremiah's, I guess, is like the sandwich, because that's like on the go. So
And what do you have coming up on the radar for people?
for myself,
Yeah. What do you got going on?
The year end.
It's coming up.
At the end.
You
of
guys
the
gonna
year.
be there? You better fucking be there. I swear to God. It's gonna be there, and you should all come.
So, one last question. So, I typically, me, I usually do the Desert Island Disc, Strange Solitary Sounds. But I wanted to ask, since, recording person. You're recording person. What would be one album, or, all right, I'll give you 3. I'll play it fair. I'm being nice.
She's hungry too. I'm surprised.
Yeah. Before I get hangry and only give you one. What would be 3 albums that you wish, like if you could be behind the deck, like in the recording studio working on, what would those 3 albums be?
Oh, like be present?
Be present and like
but
maybe
not actually
contribute.
doing the work. Like,
Maybe, yeah, but like you could be doing the work if you wanted to, but like just being present, or, maybe moving a knob if you had to. Little knob.
It's me. I did it.
I did it.
Be me when I leave here. I'm gonna get Hawk to take pictures of me at Corey's soundboard, so I look like I know what I'm doing. I'm like, wow, she's so musical. Wow, she's just really getting her vigor of her knowledge.
New profile pic.
I mean, for me, anything Abbey Road, so like Beatles, Jeff Emmerich would be like cool, because like a lot of that stuff is like, I think they just announced the anthology. I'll watch that again, the new version of it. But I watched Get Back. Like I like all the studio stuff in those documentaries. So like obviously I took the time to watch it. So being present there would be interesting. I guess that's from the 60s. I'm trying to think of like other eras that I'd be curious about. I think for Chaos, being present during whatever was going on with Brian Jonestown Massacre in the 90s would have been interesting.
I watched things about Jonestown today.
Jonestown or the band?
Well, Jonestown.
Jonestown, the terrible thing that happened.
The terrible thing that happened. But I watched things about that today. Not related, but sort of related.
I always love that band name.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just pretty great.
It's great band name, great band, but
I know.
like they were out of their minds and doing like DIY recording, and I don't know how, I think they're scamming like engineers out of studio. I have no idea how they made records, because they put out a pile of records and they didn't really have any like label support. They did kind of have, they screwed every opportunity up. Like they're still active. Like they cleaned up, and like they're a band. Tambourine player just put out a book. Like
wow.
You imagine like a name with the Brian Jonestown Massacre. Like the band's got to have, got to back it up in some way.
But at no point would I want to record a band like that. Like junked out. Like I wouldn't want to.
But a fly on the wall in the studio would have been interesting.
Yeah.
It?
I mean, the Dig documentary is sort of that, but I feel like that's not really showing you that much. And then another one. Trying to pick more modern day records I like, or that seem interesting. This is gonna be hard. There's a newer engineer I'm into. His name's Jack Shirley. So he does a lot of I found him via Jeff Rosenstock, so he records a lot of Jeff Rosenstock. But then I started noticing the scene. I think he's in Palo Alto, like California. But whatever he's got going on is kind of fascinating to me. He's like kind of a tape fan, but also like has a process down. Bands sound like the bands. Like he's not doing records that are these like overly polished. Like in the rock world, there's a lot of that happening right now. It's just like they're like super sheen, sound like AI. Like people aren't even trying to sound like it. Like humans are sounding like AI music to me. So like there's certain bands of that nature, but like this is like very raw and does a lot of like noisier rock bands too. But yeah, so checking out Jack Shirley's setup would be cool. But
We'll check that.
those aren't really records. I guess like the Jeff Rosen. I could say Jeff
No,
Rosenstock
still
as
though,
a,
it's good to have
as a-
radar of people who are like making good stuff or producing good things, right? But I still say that we should have a petition for the Jonestown Massacre to have a documentary because there needs to be more about it. Just saying.
There is.
Yeah, but
There's like a documentary about every terrible thing.
No, I'm gonna go back. So if like anybody hasn't watched it, The Studio with Seth Rogen. Did anybody watch it here? No.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet.
No?
I don't have Apple.
Well, spoiler.
TV.
There's a spot in it where they get the rights to make the Kool-Aid movie. Okay? And Bryan Cranston plays this big studio exec, and he's like, I want him to come in and, like, break through the walls. Like, oh, yeah. And Seth Rogen is like, guys, we can make better movies than this bullshit. We don't need another, like, Marvel-type Kool-Aid movie. So he has to, like, come up with some bullshit. And he's like, what if we got Marty Scorsese to make, like, Kool-Aid, and it's a movie about Jonestown, but it's made by like Martin Scorsese, and it's like fucking. And I was like, I would pay $100 to go to the theater and watch that movie because that would be so well done. But anyways, that's my tangent about Jonestown.
It took me a moment right when you started that where I'm like, wait, are we talking about the band or about the massacre? And then it took me, I picked up what you
It's
put
all
down.
good. Don't worry.
So
I didn't eat. I only had coffee, so sometimes my brain just does the different things.
got us on an interesting morning, Corey.
I hope you got that look, Hawk, and it just singles out as like one frame where you're just like, the fuck?
Why did I agree to this?
What are these people doing here?
So for people listening, this will be coming out before the event. When's year end? What are the details? When, where?
It's at Haven Music Hall, December 26th and 27th. I've got Adam K and the Natural Causes, Crying Shames, ER on the Other. That's on the 26th. And then the 27th is Dr. Mother Father, my band. That's my band. And then a band that I've been recording for years now called Constant Greetings. Got them a part of it. And then Fredericton Favorites, Marion.
Yes. What a killer.
And I'm doing a pop-up on
You got an
the
aunt?
27th
Holy shit.
between 11 and 4. So that'll be like a local vendor arts pop-up. I'll have Monopolized stuff there, but like I'll have other vendors doing like prints and hopefully some shirts and beauty. Thank you.
Merch exclusive. Merch exclusive, guys. Oh my
New
god.
mugs.
Nice.
Right? Hugs for mugs. Good for hot chocolates, coffees, anything you want in there. Water.
We could do that.
Pens.
That would be good. I had a band in here drinking piles of beer, so that's the the thing I'm used to thinking about
good,
here right now. It's like,
Yeah, you could put anything in that.
yes.
You know?
Put anything in.
Hopes and dreams, fears, tears. Strange Goose merch.
Available on our website.
Okay, well, Corey, thank you so much for taking
Thank
the
you.
time to reshoot this. Hopefully this one isn't too hot for y'all.
Don't worry, I put on my shades to make sure that
We're shining so bright over here.
down.
And thank you so much for listening and watching. And until next time,
Keep it strange. Bye.
bye.
If you've enjoyed this, then you have to hit strangegrooves.com for more amazing content. To support this podcast and music community, go to patreon.com/strangegrooves. As always, keep it strange.